Ooh, wait, Eddie Griffin, boy, got some insights, not from what he said, but more from observing what it looks like in terms of entertaining and helping or giving the people what they want. If you're not giving the people what they want and they spend their hard-earned money, I don't care what your product or your service is, because essentially comedy is a service. When you don't give the people what they want, that means that you literally have paying clients and customers that are not happy. When you have people who spend their hard-earned money that are not happy, you're going to get a lot of criticism. You're going to get a lot of backlash. And I always used to think, I didn't see this recent one, but I've been seeing a lot of talk about Eddie Griffin's most recent comedy special. And I thought he was pretty funny in some of the recent ones, right? But this one, a lot of people were saying this was like extremely offensive. And, there were people who were literally walking out of his show. It was literally like out of his special, like people literally getting up. I think they said like half the crowd got up and walked out in the middle of his special. So what I really want us to take away from this and what we're going to be talking about today is what can we take away from serving or impacting or giving your clients what they want or customers what they want versus what you really feel and what you think is the most important, right? So there's a thin line between give the people what they want, but this is actually, but I'm actually just going to do what I want, right? Regardless of how it's going to impact your audience, regardless of how it's going to impact your ideal clients. And I want us to take away a very, very special lesson. So what's good? What's good, my people? Welcome to another session of Recharging Your Business. If you're excited, go ahead and put excited below. Go ahead and give this some like. Go ahead and give this some love. And by the way, these sessions are every day at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, and it's completely public. So you can actually share these sessions. If you know anybody that's having issues with their clients, this is really what this session is about today, is how do you actually deal with your clients when they have one agenda, but you don't really feel like either their agenda or you don't necessarily agree with the decision they want to make versus the decision that you want to make for them. Does that make sense? And that's with any service, right? Is I come here to expect a service. For example, Eddie Griffin's stand-up special. I want to get a service. The service is I want to laugh. I want to have a good time. I'm out with my girl or, my spouse or whoever, right? Whoever you with, right? And so I'm out having a good time. And that's what my intention is for why I would go to the comedy club. But at the same time, are you as the comedian, as the coach, as the speaker, where's the thin line between let me make sure that they leave happy versus this is what I want to give you or this is what I think is important, because there's a parallel, right? So that's really what we're going to be talking about today. So if you're excited, go ahead and put excited below, give this some like and give this some love. And what I'm going to do, we're going to be pretty short today, but what I am going to do is I'm going to give you my insights on it. I'm going to give you some resources before we head out. All right, let's get right to it. So one of the biggest things that I've been hearing a lot of chatter about it, and essentially Eddie Griffin he just did a special, and it was extremely offensive to a lot of people. I heard it wasn't the whole special. I heard it was just certain portions of it. He was going in heavy into politics, heavy into the LGBTQ community. He was talking about heavy into like white people, and it was on the line of, how like a comedian could tell jokes, or I give you a better example. You ever had, like, I'm from the hood, right? And there was certain people that when they joke, it felt like a joke. Like you could tell when somebody is joking and it kind of feels like a joke, right? It's like, okay, I was laughing, it's funny, but there's certain people who joke, or there's certain times when a joke doesn't feel like a joke. And Eddie Griffin happened to have a part of the segment of the the special, of the 1 hour special, where it felt more like an attack, and it wasn't jokingly, and half the audience got offended and walk right out. So I want to tie this back to our business. I'll give you my thoughts on that, and then I'm gonna tie it to the business, right? So my thoughts is, if somebody's paying their money, you want them to leave with a good, you want them to leave with a good time at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Somebody, they coming in to laugh. So my goal is, if there's 100 people in this room, if I'm a comedian and I'm providing a service, there's 100 people in this room. I want everybody in this room to leave happy. I want people to tell their friends. I want them to be like, yo, you got to go watch this on Netflix when it come out. You got to like, yo, Terrell is the man, right? If I'm a comedian, I want people to leave happy. So that's my take on it. Now, that doesn't mean you can't talk politics or you can't talk about your beliefs, but there's a tactful way to be able to do it. So a person who also does that, very similar to Eddie Griffin, is Dave Chappelle. And Dave Chappelle, if you ever watched any of his specials, Dave Chappelle will talk about politics. You know, he'll talk about, transgender. He'll talk about very, touchy topics, right? Or topics where people can easily get offended. But he does it in such a tactful way that they crown him the king of comedy, right? Like, he's at the top of our generation when it comes to comedy, right? And all the comedians, Kevin Hart, everybody looks up to him, right? Everybody respects him and even Kevin Hart in one of his interviews was like, yo, like, Dave Chappelle is like that guy. He's like number one, right? But what's the difference between the two? And I don't mean to compare them, but just in terms of what we're talking about, two guys, Eddie Griffin and Dave Chappelle, who both talk about the same thing. Why does Eddie Griffin get blackballed? Why does Eddie Griffin have half his audience walk out? Dave Chappelle does the same thing, and he gets standing ovation and is crowned the king of comedy. What's the difference? Well, the difference is Dave Chappelle talks about his beliefs and he talks about touchy topics, but he does it in a tactful way and in a funny and engaging way, right? And that's really what I want to bring back to our business, because there's going to be certain times in your business where you're going to have one agenda where you really feel and I work with a lot of people who are coaches, right? But coaches, service providers, where this is the right thing to do. Or this is like, you're going to get a better result doing it this way. You're going to get okay, but you get better if you do it this way. You got to realize that people are paying their money, and if they're so headstrong or gun-ho on it, maybe they'll come around later, but you got to give the people what they want. You know how many clients that I've had, how many coaching clients I've had where I'm like, yo, we got like, do it this way, please. I'm telling you, if you do it this way, you'll get more testimonials, you'll generate more revenue, you'll do this, you'll do that. And that's not what they wanted to do. And I was frustrated with it. Right. And I'm like, yo, please just do it this way. But they're like, no. Like, I'll give you an example. I remember I had a client one time and she was like, and she came in. So my belief is that coaching and consulting is the number one form of transformation, and really coaching, because coaching is more long-term. Consulting is more, you're coming in for basically, a particular, to help somebody solve a particular problem. Right? It's not necessarily long term. You could come in, do a consultation for 1 or a couple hours. Coaching is usually more long term, and it's more personal when you know the person more. Right? So I remember I was talking to one of my clients one time, and she said, I want to speak on stages because I want to transform these women's lives all over the world, and I want them to go to the next level, and I want them to overcome depression. I'm like, great, that's dope. I said, we're going to do speaking too, because in our industry, speaking is important. But I said the highest form of transformation is coaching, because you're going to know the woman, you're going to know what she's going through. You're going to be able to help her on an ongoing basis, not just one time. And I said, you want to do speaking, but the thing with speaking is, if I'm in a crowd of 100 people, 50, 100, 200, 1,000 people, and I'm listening to you, I'm learning. But one, we're not creating a connection because you don't know my name. Two, I have particular questions that's related to what I'm going through right now, and you can't answer them because you got 100 other people in this room, right? So that's not even possible to be able to do that. And I'm probably going to lose confidence along the way. I'm going to lose motivation along the way. I know if I'm not getting a result, it's probably because I haven't been holding myself accountable to do certain things consistently along the way. And I need that from you or your program. Now, that's why I believe coaching is the number one form of transformation. However, as I tried to convey this to my client, she said, I get it, I understand what you're saying, but I want to speak and I want to tell my story and I want to go out on stages. And I said, you could do that too. And she said, that's the only thing I want to do. And I said, no, I said, please do coaching too. I promise you. And she was really fighting me on it. And I said, you know what? am I really going to fight her on what I know to be true? But if she's not passionate about it, or if she doesn't want to do it, and she might throw the baby out with the bathwater, because obviously I can help you get on stages and get paid and doing that stuff too, right? And, you know, get gigs. But if she's not passionate about it, and all she wants to do is get on stage and tell her story and really try to inspire and impact people that way, although I know coaching is the best, if this is the service that she came in for, and I don't provide that service to her, especially in the way that she wants it, she might feel the need to go somewhere else that might not be as impactful, that might not be as thorough, that might not be as supportive, that might not hold her as accountable. And I'm like, okay, it's basically like, you working with me, I want you to get 100% of everything, right? Because we offer so many different things. But I'm like, when you come in and I'm like, yo, I want you to do, like, I want to help you with this. I want to help you with this. Yo, let's create like a course. Let's do. And sometimes people don't want all the service. They just like, I know you can do this, and I want you to just help me with this. And that's the service that we're going to provide. And that's my approach. That's how I think we should all approach being able to help our ideal clients, or help our clients and help our customers, is give them what they want. And maybe they'll come around later. Maybe they're not in a position right now, or maybe they're not interested at this point in time, or maybe their level of progression, or maybe what they thought. Sometimes once people get, first of all, if this makes sense, go ahead and put make sense below. And if you loving this, go ahead and put OMG, give this some hearts, say I am loving this right now, give this some likes. So, you know, sometimes people are not in a stage of maturity where they're not, they don't see the opportunity there yet. And look, I was one of them where I just thought like, this is the way, this is the only way, this is the only way that I want to do it. But once I started getting into certain positions, once I started getting into certain, started doing certain things, then what I've noticed is my perspective changed. I had it, what got me into really coaching heavy is because I actually started off doing speaking. Actually, I started off when I first started this industry, I started working with college students. And so I ended up writing this book. And I was like, I was kind of like speaking around campus. I was doing like campus radio. I was doing a couple things, and I wasn't like getting coaching clients. Like I wasn't getting students to work with me like that. I was like kind of mentoring folks, but nobody was really paying me to coach them on a consistent basis. But I was doing some speaking. I did some speaking in some classrooms on campus and things of that nature. And I realized that as I was doing that, people was getting inspired, but nobody wasn't really transformed. Nobody wasn't really getting the results. People would say, oh, I loved it. I saw you here. I did this, or I read the book, or I heard you speaking here, and they were loving it, but nobody changed. I'm like, damn, like why nobody getting results? I'm like, yo, I'm out here. I'm giving value. I'm speaking. I'm on video. I'm in front of classrooms. I'm on the campus radios, and I'm like, yo, what's happening? So it wasn't until I started getting feedback from people that was learning from me that I'm like, I gotta work with them. I gotta work with people more closely, because I'm like, yo, if I can work with you, if I can get into your head more consistently, and I can work with you more consistently, and I can help you course correct more consistently, and I can help you stay motivated more consistently, and help you and just keep helping you tweak and help you tweak. At the time, like I said, I was helping college students like graduate and get into their career, and I could look at your resume and give you immediate feedback. I could work with you and say, hey, these are the companies you should apply for. These are the companies you should intern for to get experience. You could do this, you could do that. And as I started working with people more closely, that's when people started to get results. And that is when I had the belief that coaching is the number one form of transformation. That happened all the way back at the beginning of my career, but I didn't realize that until I started speaking, and I started really almost feeling bad that people weren't getting results, but they were loving it. But I'm like, damn, you love it so much, but I'm not seeing any results from it. I'm not seeing you get any results from it. So sometimes it takes a certain level of maturity for somebody to get those results, right? Or for somebody to get those epiphanies. Does that make sense? Y'all loving this? Let's go. Go ahead and put yes, I love this below. Give this some heart, give this some light, give this some love, and I'm glad that this is helpful, right? So we keeping this short and sweet today. I'm gonna give you some resources if you do need help, or if you want some additional training from me. I'm gonna give you a couple things. Number one, Go ahead and put, if you want to run Facebook ads, but you don't have a blueprint, go ahead and put cheat sheet below, or shoot me a DM that says cheat sheet, and I'll send that to you so you can run your own ads. If you want us to do it for you, and you want us to generate leads for you and run your Facebook ads, just go ahead and put Facebook ads below, or shoot me a DM that says Facebook ads. If you want to come out to our live event, which, by the way, tomorrow is the last day to get 50% off your PCS Bootcamp ticket. So if you want to meet me in person, if you want to meet Evan Carmichael in person, if you want to meet June Archer in person, multi-platinum music executive in person, then go ahead and go to pcsbootcamp.com and go ahead and get your tickets. Tomorrow is the last day to get in for general admission. I repeat, tomorrow is the last day to get in for general admission at 50% off. So if you want to come and you want to meet us in person, get some pictures, take some photos, we're gonna have a mastermind afterwards. If you want to be part of all of that, pcsbootcamp.com, and get your ticket right now. All right. And then if you want one-on-one coaching, just go ahead and put coach me below, or DM me, coach me. All right. With that being said, let's continue to work, continue to rock, and don't let anybody stop you, and realize, like, what people are paying for, give the people not just what they're paying for, but give them more than they expected, and you'll always be in business. All right. Talk to you soon. Let's work.